Hey, this is part 3 of the cost of living in Charlotte, North Carolina compared to other U.S. cities like New York City, LA, Washington, D.C., Chicago, as well as comparing it to the national median price for these things. So in this video, we're going to take a look at some of the other expenses outside of your home, mortgage payment, your rent payment. We've talked about that in the other 2 videos. And so check those videos out if you have not seen them already. But in this video, we're going to take a deeper dive into some of these other expenses, things like utilities, like electric bills, gas bills, auto payments, auto insurance, water, sewer, trash, mobile phone. They look at 11 of the most commonly paid items, and they're going to break it down and compare it to these other markets to see which are the most affordable areas to live in the country. And then at the end of this video, I'm going to talk about one bill that is commonly overlooked. It's probably not a thing where you live if you live outside of North Carolina. It was a surprise for me when we moved here, so stick around to the end of this video and I'll give you a heads up on that. All right, so this website here that I'm going to use for this report here it's from Doxa. They look at the top markets in the country and they do surveys and they pull in household expenses for these things. And they take the top 11 and they pull in and give us the median for all these things. Keep in mind, this is beyond just your utility costs for the home. Typically when we're thinking about discussing utilities for like a real estate purchase, it's like, okay, what's the water bill? What's the, trash bill? And then electricity. A lot of homes here have electricity for their AC unit, the outside condenser unit. That's going to be running for a large portion of the year, right? So that's a pretty big component. And a lot of times the heat here in homes is off of gas. And so that may be just for like 2 months out of the year, maybe 3 months out of the year where you're paying a gas bill, which really isn't that big of a deal. But we typically tend to focus on that. And this breakdown and this monthly amount, it actually uses a median rent price, which I'm not going to focus on for this example. And in a previous video, I did cover median rent prices briefly. For right now, I want you to think about this mainly including factor in the median rent price of $1,500, which is what they used for Charlotte, and then add in other items like auto loan payments, auto insurance, health insurance, gas, trash, recycling, water, sewer. You have alarm and security, electricity, mobile payments, life insurance, cable, and internet. So it's a long list, basically. So just use this amount that I'm going to reference as like a guide, comparison, and not actually what you would need to be paying, because you're probably not going to need all of these separate items, right? And I'll give you a breakdown of each one too, so you can kind of look to see. But like for quick reference, I'm going to go over the total monthly amounts that people pay. For all of those 11 categories that I just referenced, it's actually 11 other items plus the rent payment. You have a total national median of $2,058. It's a little confusing on this because they kind of what I was just saying is that amount is lower than the total of these individual items I'm going to reference. That's what people pay per month out of all of these categories. So for example, like auto loan payments, the median is $523. So if you have an auto loan payment, the median is $523. Health insurance, the median is $42 in Charlotte. Gas bill for utilities for your home, $75. Trash and recycling, $78. Water and sewer, $74 per month. Auto insurance, $95 per month. Alarm security services, $70 per month. Electricity for your home, $120 per month. Mobile phone, $94 for life insurance, $61 per month. And then cable and internet, $165 per month. So those are the median amounts if you have those bills. All right, so for Charlotte, that's the national median. For Charlotte, though, it's a little bit higher. I don't know if I'm making any sense in this, but Charlotte is $2,276, which is 11% higher than the national median per month to cover, these types of expenses. Now, the most expensive out of our list here, when we're comparing it to New York City is 64% higher than the national median, and they're at $3,385 per month for these things. LA comes in second most expensive. They're $2,869 per month. It's, 39% higher than the national median. Washington, D.C. is also 39% higher than the national median. They're at $2,866. And then Chicago is 10% higher than the national median, and they're at $2,267 per month. Should give you a pretty good idea. I mean, we're just slightly above Chicago, but we're 28% lower than DC and LA. And then, I mean, New York City, forget about it. Like they're at 64%, so you're going to be paying more for those items, certainly than Charlotte. And obviously it depends on your situation of which one of these you'd actually be paying. So you can kind of do that calculation on your own. Now, I want to mention one last thing here in terms of a tax bill. It's actually classified as a property tax bill that a lot of people overlook. And so what that is in North Carolina, we pay taxes every year, a property tax on our vehicle. Now, again, I broke this down in part 2 of this series here, where it's not based off the purchase price of the vehicle or the market value of the vehicle. It's based off the assessed value. So you could buy a vehicle for $50,000 and the assessed value may be $42,000. These tax rates are based on the county and the city that you live in. So they're going to vary a little bit. So for Mecklenburg County inside the city of Charlotte, it's roughly 0.76% of the assessed value. And so like on a $30,000 vehicle, price is roughly like $260 per year, give or take. Now you're going to have to pay that. So if you move here from a different state and you're supposed to get your license updated within like 30 days and get new plates and register the vehicle. Now that's supposed to start at the first of these 3 events. Either you just opt to get a North Carolina driver's license right away. If that happens, that will trigger you getting new plates and registering your vehicle in North Carolina. Or if you start employment, you're technically supposed to update things. Or then this is the first of these 3 things happening, which would trigger it, is an expiration of your state, like out-of-state reciprocity agreement. I'm not really sure which states partake in that. I remember when we moved down here, where I was in a rush to basically make myself a North Carolinian and, loved the idea of it. So like I went right out and got my driver's license in North Carolina and like would basically just, hey, pay this bill to register your vehicle. So it's not a big expense for the most part. It's something that most people aren't aware of or prepared for. And so definitely be prepared if you're thinking about moving here from a different state, and just kind of understand how that process works. Now every year that amount's going to go down because the assessed value will go down. Things like vehicles. Now your assessed value amount on a home, that's not going to go down. It's, unless they like really do things countywide to change that, but typically that's not what they do. They would actually change the millage rate, which is the tax rate that they charge on the property. So a recap, or I guess, the end of this 3-part series of what it really costs to live here in Charlotte, North Carolina, compared to some of these other parts of the country. So I hope you found some of this information helpful, useful. I'd love to hear your feedback, comments. If you have any questions, suggestions, if you see any inaccuracies in what I've discussed here in these videos, definitely want to hear from you. Like, let me know your thoughts. I mean, again, I'm not an expert in these other markets. I can really just speak to the Charlotte market best, at least. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.